Good evening, everyone. So, listen, the breaking news of the hour. Peter Mandelson, the Prince of Darkness, has been arrested. He's been arrested now. He's in custody and he's being questioned. What does that mean? Where do we go? And how many more people does this expose? How deep does this, and I couldn't fit it on the thumbnail, guys. How deep does this rabbit hole go? And every time I say rabbit, I think of adrenochrome, right? So look, guys, that's where we are right now. That's where we are in humanity's story. Peter Mandelson has been arrested. And for those of you guys who don't know why he was called La Prince of La Darkness, Peter Mandelson was just a little bit of background to this character, because he's I mean, I think the Prince of Darkness is a fair is a fair title for this guy. Okay, so Peter Mandelson was a veteran Labour politician. I would suspect a Fabian. He was, he claims himself to be a strategist, a former cabinet minister, and he earned the nickname Prince of Darkness during the rise of New Labour in the late 1980s and early 1990s. It stems from his reputation as being a ruthless, manipulative political operator, a master of spin, political intrigue, and media manipulation, who helped transform the Labour Party from a left-wing outfit into the centrist election-winning machine under Tony Blair. Now, look, guys. Basically, if you want to know, in my layman's terms, he's been promoted for being a bullshitter, right? He's been a liar. He is a liar. Now, when I talk about politics and stuff, for those of you guys, I don't want to keep mentioning this. I'm not ashamed or anything. I just think it's irrelevant. Actually, in this context, it may be relevant. Some might say, which I did, I stood at the last election for reform. And reform? Yeah, reform. Now, standing as a candidate for reform, you get to put your toes into politics. And honestly, my toes felt dirty. My toes felt dirty. It's not something I want to do. It's not something I want to be involved with. I can't be around that type of person, right? There's one gentleman that I don't know if he's still at Reform. I'm not going to name him. I can't remember his second name anyway. But there was one particular gentleman. He was so slimy. He was so manipulative. But I could see straight through this. You know when you can see a bullshitter? I'm like, yeah, you're going to screw me, mate. And I knew for a fact he was going to screw me. And guess what? He screwed me. So for those of you who don't know, Peter Mandelson, his nickname was the Prince of Darkness. Now, after he was ennobled with as Lord Mandelson, some upgraded his name to Dark Lord. So that's just what they called him, the Dark Lord. The Prince of Darkness and the Dark Lord. Like, are we really saying that these are the people that we have in charge of our country right now? The Dark Lord and the Prince of Darkness? For fuck's sake, guys. I mean, like, can they be any more clear when they spell this out? Like, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Right, okay, let's just get on to this, guys, okay? Because there's a lot to get through. So, tonight, if you're in Britain, we are watching in disbelief as another high-profile figure is led away in handcuffs. I don't know. Was he in handcuffs? He may have been in handcuffs, actually. I don't. I'm pretty sure that what I saw from, police camera action or something, I think if they don't put you in handcuffs, they're not insured. I don't know if that's a thing. But anyway, so let's just say they're metaphorical handcuffs, right? So as we all watch in disbelief, as another high-profile figure is, led away in handcuffs. I don't know if they were or not. In the careful choreography by the Metropolitan Police that they so often employ. Peter Mandelson, Lord Mandelson, the Prince of Darkness, the Dark Lord himself, the architect of New Labour, thrice cabinet minister, business secretary under Gordon Brown. I was in the military this whole time, right? I was in the military in Afghanistan. And it's so wild to think that when I was taking and breaking, we've got these nerds skulking and duggering. So until recently, for those of you who don't know, Lord Mandelson, the Dark Lord, Peter Mandelson, the Prince of Darkness, was our man in Washington as ambassador to the United States. Yes, he's been arrested. So many questions, guys. So many questions. How deep does this rabbit hole go? How many more names are going to come out? What's going to come out from this, from the interrogation? Keir Starmer's judgment. Oh, but Mandelson told me he was okay. Mandelson lied to me. Can you remember Keir Starmer coming out? Mandelson lied to me. Shut up, Keir. He's your best mate. He's your best mate. Stop moaning. We're watching pantomime, guys. We are literally watching pantomime right now. Honestly, that's what we're watching, pantomime. So he's been arrested on suspicion, might I add, suspicion of misconduct in public office. The scene unfolded this afternoon, in Camden, North London. Plainclothes police officers arrived at his home. Cameras captured the moment the 72-year-old statesman, carrying nothing more ominous than a bottle of water, escorted, to an unmarked police car, driven off to a London police station for questioning. I don't know if that was the type of questioning they did. So I'm assuming maybe while I'm on this live stream, he'll have been released. Now, this is not a routine inquiry. It stems directly from the latest release of Jeffrey Epstein files. And look, guys, there's so much going on with these Epstein files. There's so much going on. It's unbelievable. And the stuff that we're all focusing on, to me, is the wrong stuff. But listen, we'll go with this because this is breaking, right? So millions of pages released by the United States Department of Justice that just keep dragging names of the powerful into the light. Emails, correspondence, photos, whispers of contact long after Jeffrey Epstein's 2008 conviction for bad things that get, honestly, if you've got a mate, right? If you've got a mate who does bad things to children and you're still their mate afterwards, that says a lot about you, right? It does. Yeah. It's all right, whatever. If you have a friend who does bad things to children, just imagine it, right? You've got a friend. I had a friend. You have a friend, right? And they've never done anything wrong to you. But you find out, because they've been convicted, right, that they do bad things to children, and you're still their friend. Character judgment? Where do we go with that? Allegations that Mandelson, while a serving minister, passed on market-sensitive information, Downing Street assessments, perhaps even hints of political shifts that could move markets straight to the convicted JES. I'm going to call him J-Boy. Straight to J-Boy, so he could make a ton of money off that, and then maybe or maybe not give him some money back. I don't know how that thing works. The whole thing stinks, guys. It really does. The Met's investigation began earlier this month with searches at properties in Wiltshire and Camden. One of these properties, I don't know which one it is. One of these properties, either the Wiltshire property or the Camden property, I'm pretty sure he rents that from one of the Rothschilds. I'm pretty sure that's one of the Rothschilds. Anyway, I don't know. Somebody put in the chat if I'm fact check me on that. So the Deputy Assistant Commissioner, Hayley Stewart, called it a complex, time-consuming investigation requiring painstaking evidence gathering. Honestly, guys, I just think this is all smoke and mirrors for something else. I don't know what the something else is. And now the knock on the door has come. Mandelson obviously maintains he has committed no offense, and it's going to be very difficult to get him on an offense here, guys. Like when you're at those levels of government, right? It's very difficult. Okay, if you owe the bank £500, they will send you a court summons. Right? If you owe the bank 5 million, they will take you to dinner. That's how it works. That's just how it works, guys. All right? That's how it works. That's literally how it works. He has every right to the presumption of innocence. He does. Yet the fallout is seismic, guys. This is a seismic fallout. Another chip has fallen. Keir Starmer clearly faces renewed questions, all right? Why appoint this man in the first place, right? What, like, judgment, right? This comes down to character judgment, right? One of two things happens, okay? Either Keir Starmer knew or he did not, right? If he knew, then he's complicit, then he's not fit for office, all right? If he did not know, then clearly people can pull the wool over his eyes and he's not fit for office. Either way, it's not well for Keir. So the questions are big. Why appoint the Dark Lord? Fucking hell. I can't even say it. Why the Dark Lord, the Prince of Darkness, why appoint him? Why appoint a man whose Epstein links were widely reported? First as ambassador in 2024, only for those ties to unravel his tenure, and now lead to his arrest. The revelation has forced Mandelson to resign from the Labour Party. He helped reshape and step down from the House of Lords. Is this what it takes, guys? Like, if this is the type of scandal that can get you to resign from the House of Lords, does that mean that any lesser scandal, you're okay, you're fine? You're just a right diddly old guy. You're a right diddly old diddler. You're a diddly old diddler. So a man who rose from Hartlepool in I think he started his political career in 92, he's from Hartlepool. Doesn't sound like he's from Hartlepool. Who shaped Tony Blair's landslide, who embodied the ruthless modernization of the left, now stands accused of betraying the public, the very public that put him and his party in office. It's phenomenal, isn't it? It's like the beginning of Gladiator. The beginning of Gladiator. Well, not the beginning of Gladiator. You know the commercial, the advert, the trailer for Gladiator. A general who became a slave, the slave who defied an emperor. It's pretty much where we are right now. This is more than one politician's reckoning. It's a reminder of how shadowy and how deep and dark the Epstein files still reach across oceans, across decades, across oceans and time. The Epstein files reach across time and oceans, right? touching the highest levels of British, the highest levels of British elitism, I guess. It's taken down a prince. It's taken down the Prince of Darkness. The investigation continues. Mandelson is being interviewed under caution. No charges have been brought. But tonight, as we sit here and the lights are clearly going to be burning late in Scotland Yard, I think they work 24 hours anyway, so maybe they're not. Those who once called him a colleague or comrade in Britain, we must ask ourselves, is this the only one? I say this all the time, right? How many times, honestly, I'm sick of saying this. How many times do I come on the live stream and say, guys, what do you think? Is this the only one? Is that the only one now? Is there no more? Is that it? Have we caught everyone? How deep do these connections run? Who else might be named? We're living in wild times, guys. We are literally living through history right now. So that's what we're focusing on this evening, ladies and gentlemen. The breaking news, the arrest of Peter Mandelson, the Prince of Darkness himself, the Dark Lord. Oh, hang on. I just asked my friend how we take down a UFO. Give me a second. Yes. It's begun, ladies and gentlemen. It has started. You don't know what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter, but it has started. The fire has started. And as Bain said, yes, my friend, a fire must rise. Right, let me jump into the chat, ladies and gentlemen. James Brook is saying, Andrew, I remember he was up to something. I reckon Mandy. Who's Mandy? Will get off. He's been in the thick of it for decades. He's got too much on others. I reckon he'll walk. Okay. So, what I've said about this before, on previous live streams, okay? I think that Epstein's still alive, right? I do. I think that Epstein's still alive. And you guys will see where I'm referring back to this. So if you are Jeffrey Epstein, right? And I'm not. I've got nowhere near his budget. Although I wish I had. So if you're Jeffrey Epstein, right? And you have that kind of money, right? A shit ton of money. And you can do what, you've got all these people, and you've got all this dirt. Look, nobody, whatever your thoughts on Jeffrey Epstein, nobody can say that he wasn't intelligent. I watched him talk about mathematics. My mind was blown. That guy is he's a very intelligent guy. All right. And I still believe he's alive. So if I was Jeff Oepo, right, and I was gathering all this dirt on these people, and I'm a vastly intelligent guy, right, I would think, right, at some point, these guys are going to come and take me down. Yeah. Kind of need to provide myself a security blanket and a dead man's switch. All right. What do I mean by that? First of all, your security blanket will be names, places, events, pictures, videos, footage of people that don't want exposing, right? All of it, all at once. If I don't send an email to a certain email account every 2 weeks, guess what? Automatically, that email will just fucking data drop everything on everyone to everyone. Do you think all right, guys, as a show of hands, do you think it's possible to build a computer program that does that? If you don't log on, I mean, your Signal does that like every month or something. You have to put your password in, right? Literally, your Signal does it to you, right? Every month, you've got this computer program. Every month, You need. I bet you can buy it. I bet you can buy it. Do you know what? I'm going to Google this. Give me a second. Can I buy a dead man switch? Yes, Jesus Christ. I didn't even realize, guys. Listen, when I'm doing this analysis, right, and I'm doing this stuff in real time, like I give you guys real world stuff, right? I didn't realize this was even a thing. All right. So I just searched, can I buy a dead man switch software? Yes, you can buy or use various dead man switch software designed to send messages, release data, or trigger actions if you fail to check in. Options range from subscription-based web services to self-hosted open source or hardware-based solutions, including mobile apps on Glue, blah, 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 all the rest of it, right? And it tells you them. CypherWill, DeadmanSwitch.net, Last Signal, Buzzkill. So, right, okay, look, this shit's open source, right? Okay, so here's a question for each and every one of you. Each and every one of you, right? Let's just pretend that there's a man, right? Okay, let's just take that as a given, right? If anyone wants to argue that you can't buy Dead Man Switch software, go to those websites and they will tell you, they will tell you differently, right? There's like shitloads of them. That's not even a question, right? There's so many of them, right? So here's a question, ladies and gentlemen, right? If you are Jeffrey Epstein, if you are a man and your name sounds like Jeffrey Epstein, right? You pretend you're a man and your name sounds like Jeffrey. Total hypothetical, right? And you have got data upon data, videos and pictures and emails and letters, all the rest of it that he may or may not have had about the world's rich and powerful, everyone, right? Do you think that Jeffo Eppo might have considered buying one of these dead man switches for $49.99? Bear in mind, he's a billionaire. Do you think he'd have done that? Or do you think he'd have just think, I'm not going to bother with protecting myself because I'm so apps? It's fucking ridiculous, all right? So here's how I think the Jeffrey Epstein interviews went, right? This is how I think they went. This is exactly how I think the Jeffrey Epstein interviews went. Hello, Jeffrey. Hello, mate. Yeah, are you going to answer our questions? Absolutely fucking not. You get your guys in here, and you get me out of here within 48 hours. All the dead man switches going, and then everybody's going to the candy shop. It's up to you. Do what you want. I think that's pretty much how the how that conversation went, right? I think that's how it went. Jay is saying breaking. What? Paul J is saying Epstein vault cracked. Royal favors for kid giggles. I don't know what that means. Cuffs on, crowns off. I don't know what this means, guys. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. I don't know what that means. Right. I'm going to jump to the bottom, guys. There's loads of comments. I do apologize if I'm missing anyone's comments. I really don't mean to do them. Hertzman West is saying, can you think of anyone in India, China, Japan that might want the endorsement of Leonardo DiCaprio, Russia, etc.? Because I don't know what that means. Looking for non-US products to endorse to make some money. Hertzman West, I don't know what that means, mate. I don't know what that means. Googleinos is saying a senior Israeli security official, American preparations for an attack on Iran are complete, and from now on, it depends on them. Listen, guys, we said the 28th, right? Which is Thursday. That's what we said on this channel. We said the 28th, okay? That's what we said on the channel. That's when I think it's going to go in, the 28th, which is a Thursday. Some of you guys are saying that it's going to go in after the 3rd of March. I don't know. But look, guys, it's going to go in, right? It's absolutely going to go in. And I don't mean like in the Epstein manner that it's going to go in. I mean in like the Donald Trump manner that it's going to go in, like the big airstrikes and stuff. James is saying, I think Epstein had too much on the most powerful people in the world. I believe he thought it would protect him. The opposite happened. Okay, so look, guys, and it goes back to that question, right? We've just seen it there. We've literally just seen it there. You can buy a Dead Man Switch software or an app on your phone. Do you know what? Give me a second. Let me try and find it on. Let me try and find this on Google Play. Give me a second. Honestly, I just got a text message then, and I'm so psyched about it because I've managed to get people talking on my group chat about something that's really important. I'm just searching on Play Store for Dead Man's Switch. Oh my God. Right, okay. So I'm just going to look at this, right? Okay, so there's an app here, and the app's called Dead Man Switch, right? You can download it. Monitors the movements of your smartphone and sends alerts for emergencies. Yeah, so that, can send. Hang on, I'm just clicking on it. Dead Man Switch. Right, so the way I'm looking at this, okay, so the way I'm looking at this, the Dead Man Switch on place. Do you know what? It doesn't even matter. There's shitloads of them, right? I'm not going to waste my time on that. God, I genuinely can't believe that, guys. Okay, you can buy a Dead Man Switch. I never thought that thing would be there, but of course it is. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining for the first time, if you're joining right now, we are talking about the breaking news of the hour. Jeffrey Epstein, Peter Mandelson has been arrested. Let me just refresh this real quick. He has been arrested and he's been held. He's been held on suspicion of, hang on. He's been held on suspicion of misconduct while in public office. Now, I think there's a lot more. I mean, guys, look, haven't we all seen that picture of Peter Mandelson in his pants on the phone? Like, are these people for real? Honestly, are these people for real? You know when somebody comes out with a camera? Like, one of the things that, like, you get taught quite early on in the military is all this electronic shit, video, just don't do it. Just do not do it. So are these one of two things, right? Either this guy is so arrogant or he's so stupid. And I don't think it's the latter, right? It's clearly not the latter. So as we speak right now, ladies and gentlemen, Peter Mandelson, the Dark Lord himself, that's what they called him when he got his lordship, the Dark Lord, the Prince of Darkness, has been arrested. He's been taken to a police station for questioning after searches on 2 of his properties. Lord Mandelson, is he still a lord? I don't know if he's still a lord. Peter Mandy Mandelson has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in a public office. Like, honestly, this makes me so sick. The Inland Revenue, they chased me for £62, right? And I had to pay the £62 back, and then a fine because I ordered something from like what's that website? Alibaba. I ordered something from Alibaba, but I didn't pay like, I don't know how it works. I didn't pay like, look, guys, I don't know how this works, right? I ordered something from Alibaba. It turned up at my house. I didn't think I had to pay tax. I didn't. Like, and I had to pay £62 tax. You know when you order something from eBay, right? You don't think you have to pay extra tax on that, do you? You're like, oh, so like, look, guys, I'll be quite honest. I didn't know that I had to pay like an import tax or some. I don't know what I don't even know to this day, guys. I don't even know what it was. Maybe you guys in the chat will be able to help me out on that. But I ordered something from Alibaba, that website. It's like a Chinese website. Literally ordered it, paid with my card, turned up like, Jesus Christ, like maybe like a month and a half later. And then like maybe a month and a half later after that, I got a tax bill. And then I got a fine for not paying that tax bill. So like now you've got Peter Mandelson, right, who's potentially, allegedly, reportedly defrauded a little bit more than 62 quid, right? And I wonder what happens to him. I wonder what happens to Mandy. The Willow Fairy is saying his staff have to call him sir, but only 2 staff now. Well, I don't mind calling people sir if they want to get called sir and they're paying you. I'll call them. Listen, if somebody's paying me, I'll call them whatever they want. I'll call them, you know, I'll call him all hail Lord Raven. You know, as far as I'm concerned. He will claim the diplomatic bag. Yeah, look, guys, you know, we're all seeing these arrests. Who's got like, you know, there's a long way between an arrest and a criminal charge, right? I'm going to speculate that all these charges are going to get dropped. I think this is, I just feel this is pomp and pageantry right now. I feel it's circus, right? It's circus to keep people entertained. Andrew Rubin is saying that's a lot of money, Sean, on an inflatable doll. Yeah, I bought an inflatable doll from what was it? Alibaba. CRF is saying, I heard that the next person in line to the throne hundreds of years ago was put on a ship and sent to Australia. Tracy McKibben. Hello, Tracy McKibben. Tracy McKibben is saying, next you're going to see suspicious deaths. Do you know what I saw that was very suspicious? So, I don't know if you guys know, but private planes, they don't get checked at they don't get checked at airports. It just doesn't happen. Private planes don't get checked at airports. When I was doing my pirate's license. When I was doing my pirate's, I did say it. When I was doing my pilot's license, I said to the guy, I said, so you know how we're doing this light flying? I said, like, do we have to stay in the UK? He's like, no, not all. We can go to another. So we were going to fly. This was before COVID. We was going to fly on like lessons. We were just going to have lessons, and we were just going to go to Amsterdam for a lesson, land in an airport in Amsterdam, turn around, have lunch at the airport or whatever, and then come straight back. I thought that was pretty cool. And I was talking to him, and I was saying, so like, what checks do they have at these little airports? And there's none. There's none. If you're on a private plane, do you think they've got customs do you think they've got do you think you get the same checks? Absolutely not. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I really need the toilet, right? I really need the toilet. So I'm going to run. I'm going to run to the toilet. Right, somebody's mentioning skunkworks there, right? I'm going to go to the toilet and I'm going to go come back to this comment. Give me 2 seconds. Give me under a minute, guys. Give me under a minute because I really need a wee. Right, Marty Good. They're all made in the Skunk Works by Grumman Engineering. Okay, so Lockheed Martin does Skunk Works. So I don't know where we're going, but I want to get to the bottom of this. Right, where's Martin Goodman? Where's Martin Goodman? No, the invading ones are in Europe, but the UFOs are right. I want to find out, guys, what are we talking about here? We're talking about aliens, we're talking about invasions, we're talking about UFOs. I want to get in on this chat. I want to get in on this chat, but I feel like I've missed it. Right, I think I've missed that, guys. I think I've missed that. Right, let's jump to the bottom of the chat, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Hertz is saying the US is evacuating forces near Iran. The same thing happened right before Operation Midnight Hammer. Israeli jets are currently active over Tel Aviv, expected Tehran to be glassed in the coming hours. Listen, guys, if it is, what time is it? What date is it? I think it's going to be the 28th. I think, listen, it might not be. I think it's going to be the 28th. Let's just have a look what day we're on. 23rd. What's happening tomorrow? Okay, so tomorrow is maybe it is going to be tomorrow. Maybe it's going to be tonight because tomorrow is the 4-year anniversary of the Russians going into Ukraine. So maybe that's what it's for. I still think the 28th, guys. I still think the 28th. Googleinos is saying the United States issues the highest level of travel warning for American citizens in Lebanon. Lockheed took over the Grumman plant. Okay, Skunk Works is Lockheed, guys. It is. Skunk Works is Lockheed, trust me. Skunk Works is Lockheed. Right, let me just Google this real quick. Okay. Let me get rid of these. Right, sign into Fox. Right, I'm not going to sign in. I haven't got an account. But yes, it does look like the United States. Right, there we are. I'm going to have to go from Daily China. Right, I'm going to have to go with the Daily China. The United States are The United States orders non-emergency personnel to evacuate from embassy in Beirut. So, look, this is what happens, guys. You know, when we're leading up to these conflicts, they tell the embassy staff to get out. Washington, the United States the U.S. State Department on Monday, today, ordered non-emergency U.S. personnel to evacuate the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon, amid heightened tensions in the Middle East. The Department of State has ordered the departure of non-emergency U.S. government personnel and eligible... God, excuse me, guys, I do apologize. And eligible family members from the U.S. Embassy in Beirut. The State Department said in a statement, giving no reasons. We continuously assess the security environment, and based on our latest review, we determined it prudent to reduce our footprint to essential personnel. So this is that whole thing that I talked to you guys about, okay? Hibernate, relocate, evacuate. Can't really hibernate because they're there anyway. They don't really have a fallback location, so they can't, relocate. So get the fuck out. Get out of Beirut. So that does look, listen, guys, you've got to look at these whole regions, okay? All these regions, it's all in flames, right? It's all in flames. And one thing I keep going back to is, can you guys remember that that AI video? The AI video with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and it's like, Donald Trump will set you free. Bring in the light for all to see. And, there's like Donald Trump, and he's like, he's making Palestine this beautiful place. The first thing, literally, as soon as I heard that, and listen, guys, I think Donald Trump's great. I do. I think he's fantastic. I think he's great. The first thing I thought of when I heard that was, right, okay, Lucifer is also the light bringer. And just as soon as it said that, Donald Trump will set you free, bring in the light for all to see, I was like, okay, Lucifer's also the light bringer. Maybe it's a coincidence, right? Maybe it's a coincidence. Like maybe Elon Musk's company, Neuralink, maybe that's just a coincidence that is in the Greek gematrix or whatever it's called. Maybe it's just a coincidence that Elon Musk's company, Neuralink, equals 666. Calculate the number of his name, anyone? Again, maybe it's just coincidence that Prince Andrew got arrested 666 days after the two horses ran through, blood-stained horses ran through the city of London and Big Ben stopped. Maybe that's just a coincidence. And maybe it's just a coincidence that he got arrested on his 66th birthday. Maybe all this is just coincidence, guys, right? Sean is saying there's no room in the Hedgehog Inn to hibernate. I don't know what that means. Where's the Hedgehog Inn? The Hedgehog Inn. Right, I'm just jumping up, guys. Sean Persons is saying Mandelson's going to the big house and not the Commons. I don't know what that means. What's the big house? The America? I don't know what that means. And CRF is saying apparently the cartel have kidnapped American citizens from the tourist area they attacked. Look. What do I keep saying to everyone, right? What do I keep saying to everyone, okay? You need to have those triggers, hibernate, relocate, evacuate. So no doubt you will have had American tourists, all right? God damn it, Jim boy, I'm going to get me that big steak. Let's go get that all-you-can-eat steak dinner. Dad, there's like cartels running around. God damn it, cartels were goddamn Americans. So look, doesn't matter how much, you know, how you know, listen, everybody, prevention's better than a cure, right? I've no doubt that the United States have, you know, I'm not even in any doubt. I know 100% that the United States have phenomenal hostage rescue capability. They have phenomenal military capability. And if the United States want to get those guys out, they absolutely will. As long as they know where they are. Now, that becomes the problem, right? Stop with the numbers. My son's birthday is 28th of February. What does... Oh, right, okay. Okay, J. Paul Conley, right, 666, is telling me to stop it with the numbers, and he's got 666 in his name, right? I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying that's your name, right? I'm not casting judgment. I'm just saying you're telling me to stop it with the numbers, and you've got 666 in your name. Okay, so we said, give me a second. I'll show you why I think the 28th. Okay, it's spelled wrong. Give me a second, guys. I'm just going. Oh, it's fucking right. Okay, I'm not going to do. Right, there's too many ads on that. Let me go back. Maybe. Okay, Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know, there is a celestial event happening on the 28th of February, right? The planets are aligning. Yep, the planets are aligning, and it's going to happen on the 28th of February. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event. The prospect of seeing 6 planets in the evening sky at once is an exciting prospect, and it's true. Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus. I love Uranus, guys. It's one of my favorite planets. It's not the biggest. It's not the most beautiful. Some people say it's a little bit dirty, but I love Uranus, guys. I love Uranus. They will all be seen above the horizon at the same time, with the 28th of February touted as the best time to see the planetary alignment. So they're literally, as you know, there's literally a planetary alignment on the. Here we are. Let me share this with you. I was going to share something off the BBC, but it was like all over the place. So this is what I'm talking about. On the 28th of this month, so like Thursday. Am I right? Is that Thursday? I think it is Thursday this month. This week. Jesus Christ. Jesus, are we on the 23rd already? 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. Sorry. Saturday. Sorry, guys. Saturday. Sorry, my mistake. So the planetary alignment on February the 28th, 2026, see how to see it. Whatever, we don't need to worry about that. But there's a planetary alignment. So if I was a betting man, I would say the 28th of February, there is a strong possibility that the airstrikes will go in on that date. That's what I'm saying. Guys. Okay. I know some of you guys are saying they're going to go in after the 3rd, but who knows? Sean Pearsons is saying Keir Starmer likes Uranus. Listen, there's some fantastic planets out there. What's Uranus got to do with Mandelson? More than you would think. More than you would think, Jeffrey Epstein. Right, you are right, though, Jeffrey Epstein. Let's get back on track because we have been talking about the breaking news of the hour. Peter Mandelson, the Lord of the Prince of Darkness, the Dark Lord himself, has been arrested. He's been arrested on what is it? Misconduct while in public office or something. Basically, allegedly, reportedly, behind the scenes-edly, what people are saying is Mandelson, and from the Epstein emails, what they're saying is Mandelson was giving Epstein inside information on what was happening in the United Kingdom and giving the ability and that was giving Epstein the ability to make a shit ton of money. Look, all you need to know, if you want to make a shit ton of money, right? Like an obscene amount of money, all you need to do is know next week's headlines, right? Literally, if you know next week's headline, forget the lottery. The lottery's gay, right? You can't make as much money. If you know next week's headlines, you can make a shit ton of money. And I know there's that woman, what's her name? Nancy Pelosi or Nancy Pelosi? Nancy Pelosi, I don't know what. Nancy Pelosi or Nancy Pelosi or something, I don't know. She was Speaker of the House in the United States, right? She outperformed every stockbroker, every stockbroking portfolio, everyone. She was like the number one, I'm pretty sure, allegedly, reportedly, for entertainment purposes, she was the number one stockbroker in the United States. She beat everyone. Just so happens as well, her husband is he's a stockbroker. Obviously, there's no inside trading going off there. No inside traded. When they were at home and they were talking, and husbands were saying, "Hey, Nancy, what's going on at work?" And she'd say, "Sorry, I can't tell you," because that happened. Obviously, it just turns out she was really good at betting on what was coming in the future, what laws were going to pass. But nobody says anything because that's totally acceptable for people to build millions, billions. I don't know how much money she's worth. There was actually, I think there was a Twitter site or an X. I think there was an X page that was following her, and every time because all this information is public in the public domain. Every time she invested in a company, they would post that on X. And it turns out people that followed her, and if you've only got $1,000 to start, whatever, $100, whatever, what people would do is they would say, right, okay, whatever Nancy Pelosi puts her money in, I'm going to do the same. It turns out those people who followed her, they made a lot of money. Right, guys, there's loads of comments. Oh, hang on, I've got... Googleinos is saying, Sean, get my 2 comments right. So, listen, guys, when there's a lot of chat, sometimes sometimes I miss them. Right, let me find Googleinos' 2 comments. Let me find his first comment right there. Okay. British Maritime Organisation reports unstable navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, so what I'm going to speculate this is GPS denial. Now, there's something called you can get GPS spoofing and GPS jamming. When you jam a GPS, you deny that GPS, right? When you spoof the GPS, you tell the GPS that it's somewhere else and it's off and it's just awkward to work with. So if that's happening, guys, that is an act of war. What Googleinos is saying there, British Maritime Organisation reports unstable navigation in the Strait. Oh, hang on. Maybe it's not actually. Right, let me Google this. Let me Google Enos's comment. Unstable. Get ready for the oil prices, guys. Get ready for the oil prices. Okay, so navigation in the Jesus Christ. Look, you know what I just said, right? Okay, let me just share this with you, right? Because I remember what I just said. Listen, guys, I don't know what the questions are going to be. I don't know what the comments are going to be in the chat, right? And I give you guys my analysis in real time, uncandid and raw, okay? Literally, what did I just say, right? Navigation. So Google Enos said about the navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, right? And then I asked AI. Navigation in the Strait of Hormuz is currently characterized by high instability, with commercial shipping facing significant risks due to electronic warfare, GPS jamming and spoofing, and geopolitical tensions. The area is considered a critical maritime choke point, with roughly 20% of the world's oil daily passing through that region. And literally, it tells you the first top one there, GPS spoofing and jamming. Exactly what I said. And if that wasn't the best reason right now, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure if you're on to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit those bell notifications down below. Because listen, guys, when most people on the internet, they research shit, they do a video, they tickly, tackly, smackly. They do all this stuff, then they give you a video. I do this in real time, live, one-on-one with you guys. I never know what the questions are going to get. If you think I don't know what I'm talking about, guys, I literally gave you the answer that AI gave, probably quicker than AI, right? I gave you that quicker in real time. So I clearly know what I'm talking about. And my hair's fantastic. It is, guys. Nobody can deny my hair's not fantastic. Right, let me jump up. Right, and Google is saying Iran has launched a ballistic missile exercise of various ranges in the... I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce that word. In the Canaria, I don't know, area of South... in the southwest? Yeah, of course it is. In the southwest near the Iraqi border. What we've got to understand is the Iranians, they have access to, they're allied with the Russians, right? The Iranians, the Russians, the Chinese, the BRICS, the Indians. I'm 50-50 about the Indians still. They're all allied, right? They're all allied. Listen, guys, what we can take from this right now, hashtag real time. If the Strait of Louis Hackers. Thank you, Louis Hackers. I definitely needed that. Just consider, right? Just consider. Forget everything, right? If the Strait of Hormuz is closed, 20% of the world's oil, done. That's what happens. If the Strait of Hormuz is closed, 20% of the world's oil is diddly-diddled. Now, there's so much to this that, like, there are so many layers to this. Hang on. Now, there are so many layers to this, guys, okay? There's a proposed... What time are we on? Oh, God, okay. I'm going to have to close this down. There's a proposed trade route, right, from the Persian Gulf. So let me get this up on the map. I'm not going to get it up. I haven't got time. There's a proposed trade route from the Persian Gulf through Saudi Arabia, through Jordan, through Israel to the Mediterranean, right? That's the proposed land corridor. Now, that land corridor was about to be signed and made official just before the 7th of October attacks on Israel. If that had have been ratified and would have been, it would probably been operational by now. If that trade route had have been operational, I guess, then the Iranians would not have the capacity to close. Well, they would have the capacity to close down the Strait of Hormuz, but nobody would care because they would just go the alternate route, right? So this is what it's all about, guys. It's all about influence in that region. And right now, the Iranians still have that influence. 5 years, 10 years, that influence is going to be gone. So they need to make their stamp now while they have their regime. And you've got to look at the supreme leader of Iran as well. He doesn't have long left. He really doesn't, guys. He's not got long left. He's been running the country like it's his. Look, how do you negotiate, right? So mainstream media is telling us that, look, guys, whether you believe this or not, mainstream media are telling us that the high-end toll for what's happened in Iran is 30,000, right? How do you come to a negotiating table with a regime that's just done bad, that's just sent 30,000 people, 30,000 of their own people to the candy shop? How do you come to the negotiating table with those people? Do you treat them fairly? Do you treat them fairly? Do you give them concessions? Do you give them, what I'm getting at here is, guys, when people are talking about peace negotiations and ceasefire, you just can't negotiate with some people. You can't. Physically, you can't negotiate with some people. It's really difficult, all right? Principally, you can't. Hang on a minute. Principally, you can't negotiate with some people neither. Googleinos is saying reports of GPS jamming in Syria, Iraq, and Iran. Okay, that to me seems like that would be the United States. I don't think the Iranian. Yeah, well, it clearly is. Listen, guys, it may happen tonight. It may happen tonight. It absolutely may happen tonight, guys. It may happen tonight. Right? Let me jump on this. Whenever it happens, does anybody think it's not going to happen? And when it does happen, 2 things, ladies and gentlemen. That's 3. I'll make another one up. Okay. First of all, when it happens, the likelihood of sleeper cell activation goes up drastically. When those airstrikes go into Iran, the likelihood of sleeper cells goes up drastically. Second thing, when it happens, assume the price of oil is going to peak, skyrocket, go up to prices it's never been before. Also, worst case scenario, they ain't going to be no diesel. They ain't going to be no diesel, ladies and gentlemen. That's worst case scenario. And third, I'll be doing another live stream. GPS jamming. I'm getting nothing for that, Googleinos. No, I'm getting nothing on that. Googleinos, where are you getting that from? Reports of GPS jamming in Syria. Right, let me try Syria. No, where are you getting that from, Googleinos? Listen, just quickly, the significance of jamming, the significance of taking down the GPS signal, right, is first of all, you don't want you don't want to take down the GPS signal unnecessarily, right? If you take down the GPS signal unnecessarily, the bad guys can figure out how you've done it and harden their systems, recode their computers, and make it so you don't, you know, it's harder for you to do that next time, all right? So when you found a chink in the armor, you don't exploit that until you can fully exploit it, right? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense to do that, you know. So when you do take down these GPS signals, the main reason for this is because the Iranian weapons are, the Iranian long-range missiles are heavily, like ridiculously heavily reliant on GPS signal, right? Whereas Western munitions, they are pretty much fire and forget. You can fire those weapon systems out and they use stars and all sorts of crazy shit. They use ground recognition. So they don't need GPS. But the Iranian systems, they don't have that, right? The Iranian systems don't have that. They are massively dependent on GPS. So taking out the GPS would be a precursor to a big-ass strike. It really would, guys, because you're only going to want to do that once because you're not going to want them to do that again. Andrew Rubin is saying, no one in their right mind is going to try and replace Starmer before May local elections. He will go in the week after Labour is wiped. I don't think he's going for a long time, guys. I really don't. I don't think Starmer's going to leave for a long time. I think he's going to be here. I do think he's going to be there at the next election. Who would want to replace him? Like, look, guys, I know this is British politics, but in British politics, like Labour is like the most unpopular party ever. I don't right now, like, what's his name in Venezuela? The Venezuelan guy who's just been captured. I don't know what his name was, but he was rated higher than Keir Starmer is, right? Maduro had more popularity than Keir Starmer. Maduro was more popular. I can't. Maduro was more popular than Keir Starmer. Right, Googling is saying, ex-latest, type GPS jamming on the search bar. Right, guys, listen, I will keep everybody updated on this. I will. I'll be keeping my eye on this. If there is airstrikes going to the Middle East, I'll be straight back on this platform, guys, and I'll be doing an emergency live stream. I will. But on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of this live stream has been Peter Mandelson, the Dark Lord himself, the Prince of Darkness, has been arrested. And my question to each and every one of you fine people is, how deep does this run? How many more people are implemented? Well, you guys know what the word I'm trying. Implemented? Incriminated. Incriminated is the word I'm trying to find, guys. Incriminated. How many more people are going to be incriminated with these arrests? And I think, regardless of the arrests, regardless of what's happening, people need to prepare themselves for what is coming. And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now. If there is an emergency update in the night, I'll be straight back on it. I will, guys. It's quite warm tonight, so I'll be straight back out. I'll be back on 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all good evening and have a great night.